Hello and welcome. This is a Sudoku that I did quite a while ago. I did this one as a code word Sudoku. It was the first code word Sudoku that I did, and I think I mentioned at the time that you could actually do it without the code word, but it was very difficult. And I said I'd get around to doing it, and I haven't, and I've finally got around to doing the solution on here. So all you need to know in this one is that the numbers 1 to 9 appear in one of the rows or columns in order, either up, down, left or right. So somewhere in this puzzle you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, either that way, that way, that way, or that way. So you just have to figure out where that is. Otherwise it's just a killer Sudoku where the numbers have to add up to the numbers in the corners of the cages. Those ones have to add up to 19, they have to add up to 17, and numbers cannot repeat in a cage, and they're the only rules that you need to know. Normal Sudoku rules apply otherwise, 1 to 9 in the rows and columns and in the regions here. It's quite a difficult one, but give it a go. You might not find it as difficult as I did, but there's quite a few tricks I found. When I first did it, I tried resolving all these ones in here, and you've got to sort of resolve these ones and these ones and these ones all together, and it was quite a bit of a task, and I did manage to bubble my way through it, but I did a lot of guessing and checking and to get there. But I've figured out a bit more logical way to do it now, so I'll go through that solution with you. But if you'd like to have a go at it yourself, there's a link in the description below. Certainly not one for beginners, I don't think, but you're welcome to have a go. And I will do the solution for you now. So first off, we'll put in the numbers that we know have to go in the cages. That has to be a 7, 8 or 9 in 24. That has to be a 1, 2, 3 in a 6. Now the next thing is these two add up to 34, so that leaves 11 there because the whole row has to be 45. And 11 and 28 makes 39, which gives us a 6 in there. And then we know that the 7, 8, 9 can't go there. So in this region here, we have to have a 7, 8, 9 in there. And to add to 28, we also need, they add to 24, so we have to have 4, which has to be a 1 and a 3. And then that leaves up here a 2, 4 and 5 left over. And that gives us a 1, 3, 6 in that box there, which does add up to 10, so that works. And most of the other ones now are all really not, there's too many options to put in at this stage. So what I'm going to do now is look for where the 1 to 9 might go and see if we can figure out that. So obviously it can go there or there. It can't go there because there's a 2. It would have to be a 2 because it's got to go 1, 2. Can't go there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't go there. Can't go there. That would have to be a 6. It can't go there. Can't go there. Can't go there. So all those rows, in all those rows, it can only go in these two. So going down, that would have to be a 1. Okay, that would have to be a 1, which is cool. 2, but you couldn't have a 3 there because the 3 is already up in here in that box. So those 3 won't work. That would have to be a 1 in those ones. So none of those going down ones work. Going this way, that would have to be a 1. That would have to be a 2. 1, 2. That would have to be a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That won't work. That won't work. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now that one could possibly work. And if it did, you would have to have a 7, 8, 9 in there as well. So it would have to be 7, 8, 9. And then that one would be the 7. So that's possible. Now this one here looks like it could work. And they look like they could work. But look at this 19 cage. If that was a 1, that would leave 18, which you can't have. So if that was a 1, that would leave 18. If that was a 1, that would leave 18. So those 3 don't work. So the only ones that work is that one and those 2 so far. Now going up, that would have to be a 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. That doesn't work. These ones, now that would work with a 9, but then you'd have to have a 7, 8 there. And you can't have because the 7, 8 is over here. And the same thing with each of these. So none of the up ones work. So the only ones that work are these 2 and that one going that way. Now this one here, you can eliminate this one quite easily because that has to be, if we put all the numbers in the row, in this one 6, 7, and that would be 4, 5 there. 6 and 7's 13, you'd have to have a 4 in there, and you couldn't have 2 4s in there. So that eliminates that bottom row. So it's either this row or that way going, that row going that way. So how do we eliminate one of those? So if this one here going backwards, if that was a 7, 8 or 9 there. Now what I ended up doing, I looked at the 7, 8, 9s and where they could go. Now we've got 3 7, 8, 9s there already, so we can't have another one in there. What I ended up finding this row here. Where can the 7, 8, 9s go in that row? We can only have one in here, in this box. Assuming it's not there. We can only have one in that row. We can only have one there. And this box here, if you look at what can add up there, if you put 2 7, 8, 9s into that, into 17, minimum you can have out of those two is 15. And then you'd have to have a 1 and a 1, which is not possible. So if you put 2 big ones in there, you're going to have too big a number. So you can only have one of the 7, 8 or 9s in there. So you can have one there, and one there. And in fact, you have to have one there, and one there. So that means that one has to be a 7, 8, 9. We don't know where it is there. And in here, it has to be there or there. So I'll just put it in this like that at the moment because we're not sure where it goes. 7, 8, 9. But that tells us that that one can't be a 7, 8, 9. So it doesn't go there, which means it has to go in this one here. So 1, 2, 3. I'll put all those in. Oops. 7, 8, 9. Okay, and now we can put a few other things in from that. So this 9 from 19 is 10 leaves. Okay, we can't have a 9, 1. Obviously, we can't have 8, 2. Can't have 7, 3. We're going to have a 6, 4 pair there. This one here has to be 6 from 17 is 11. So we can have a 9, 2. We can't have the 9 there though. We can have a 9 and a 2. We can have an 8 and a 3. 7 and a 4, but there's a 4 there or there, so we can't have a 7 and a 4. We can't have a 6, 5 obviously, so that's all that can go there. I'll put in what's left here. That means we have 1, 2, 3, 5 to go in those ones. 2, 3, 5 there. 5 from 16 is 11, which means we've got to have 9, 2 pair or 8, 3 pair. We can't have 7, 4 because there's a 4 there, and we can't have 6, 5. So that's all that can go in those. Gets rid of a couple of things up here. 8, 9. Now in here we have to have 13. And we can't have a 7, 8 or 9 there because there's already a 7, 8, 9. So to get 13, you can't have a 3, you've got to have a 4 and a 9. So the 4 would have to go there and the 9 would have to go there. Or you can have a 5 and an 8, or you can have a 6 and a 7, and that's the only way to get 13. So that means now 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, it doesn't go there, which means it goes there, and then one in here somewhere, which we don't know where yet. So now the other tricky thing we have here is this one. This 1, 3. Now it might take quite a while to have seen this, but you can't have a 1, 3 in there, another 1, 3 in there, because it's got to be up there. You can't have a 1 or a 3 there, so the other 1, 3 has to be here. And now these two squares here have to be We've got to have an 8, 9 either there or there, because that's got to be 8, 3 or 9, 2, and then the other one has to go there. So if that's an 8, 3, that's a 9. If that's a 9, 2, that's an 8. So we can't have an 8, 9 there. So these can only be 1, 2, 3, or 7. 1, 2, 3, or 7. And then that gives us a 1, 2, 3, 7 quadruple in this column, which gets rid of the 1, 3 there. So that one's a 6. And then that leaves us with 5, 6, no, not 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 8, 9. 5, 8, 9 for these ones. Now, what do we do from here? We fill in this, I guess. So what can we have here? We can't have 9 and 9, obviously. 9 and 8, 17 is too many. 9 and 7, 16 is too many. So that one's not a 9. Yeah, that one can't be a 9 then, can it? Okay, can it be an 8? 8 and 9 is 17. 8 and 8, 16. 8 and 7 is 15. It can be 8, 7 and 1. So I've got 8. Hang on, I'll put the possibilities up here. So I've got 8, 7, 1 is possible. And then 5 and 9 is 14. And that could be a 2. 5 and 8 is 13. That would have to be a 3, which you can't have. Which actually that means that can't be an 8, doesn't it? Because we couldn't have 8, 8 either. 5 and 7 is 12, and 4 is possible. So they're the possibilities. So I don't need these ones in the corner. I've done all the possibilities in the centre. So having done that and got rid of that 8, that tells us there has to be an 8 there now, doesn't it? Which means that's not an 8. So that's a 5. Now if that's an 8, that means that one's not an 8. Which doesn't tell us anything else, I don't think. But 5 and 7's got rid of the 8 there now. So what do we have? 8, 7, 1. That gets rid of the 1. So 5 and 7's 12 and 4, or 5 and 9 and 2. So they're the only possibilities there. I'll just get rid of that 8. Whoops. That 8 there now. Will I, or would that be useful? Might be useful later on. I might leave it there actually. Just might be an 8 along here we need to eliminate at some point. So that's not a 5 now. It's an 8, 9 pair. Now, what can we have in here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That one's not a 5. Now, can we eliminate anything else? The 7 has to go there. We don't know if it's there or there. The 2. There's no 2 there. So we know there's got to be a 2. Because there's got to be a 2 in here, it's either there, and that means the other one's here. So the top 2's there, or if the 2's there, the other one's there. So the top 2 has to be there. So either way, that one's not a 2. So that gets rid of the 4, 7 from there. And now, what do we have left in this row here? We've got a column here. We've got to have a 4 somewhere in there, and another 7, 8, 9. So where can the 4 go? There or there? If the 4 goes there, that will be 5, 2, 7 and 9, which works possibly. If the 4 goes there, is there any way to tell that it can't go there? If the 4 goes there, that would have to be a 7. 4 and 7 is 11. From 23 is 12. I'll just put it in to show. If that's a 4, that has to be a 7. Is 11. And then if that was a 5, you'd have to have 16. You'd have to have another 7 to make 23. And you're not allowed to have 2 7s in one box. So that can't work with the 5. Can it work with the 2? 4 and 7 is 11, 12, 13. You'd have to have 10. So no, it can't. So the 4 can't work there at all. So that means the 4 definitely goes here. So that's a 2. Whoops, just the 1. That one's a 2. So 5 and 2 is 7 and 9, 16. That one's not a 9 now. 7, 8, so that's a 9. And that's not a 9, so therefore that's not a 2. Gets rid of a couple of things. Doesn't totally eliminate things though, does it? Gets rid of that 9 and that 9 and gives that one has to be a 9. Still doesn't quite resolve all this bit though, does it? I don't think in any way. 2, 3, 8, no, okay. 7, 8, that means there's got to be a 9 here or here. We can't have one there, we can't have one there because there's got to be one there. There's no way to say where it is, definitely, is there? Can we have a 9 there? 9 and 4? Not sure. We'll see what goes in here first, I think. So that one had to be a 7, 8 or 9, didn't it? 7, 8 or 9. Now that leaves in here, we've got to have a 6 there or there. And the other one has to be an 8 or a 9, doesn't it? So we've got 6, 8, 9, 6, 8, 9. And that one can't be an 8. 6, 8, 7, 9. Can't tell where they go though. So we might just have to try. Actually, can we have a 7 there? If that's a 7, that would have to be a 4. I'll just check that out. If that's a 7, that would have to be a 4 is 11. 11 from 23 is 12. Is there anything that adds up to 12? 9, 10, 11. No, there isn't, is there? There's nothing there that adds up to 12. I thought that might be the case because it got rid of that 7 there. So that can't be a 4, that can't be a 7. So that can't be a 7. That means that one has to be the 7, doesn't it? Yes, because we've got an 8, 9 pair there. Now, does that help anything else? 7 and 4 is 11. So let's see what adds up here. 11 from 25 leaves 14. I'll just have to check which one of these might work, I guess. Which one should we check first? We'll check the 6, I guess. 6 and 4 is 10, 17. Then that would be, they would have to be 8. That would have to be a 3 and a 5. That would be a 5. Oops. A 5. If that was a 3, that would be a 2. 2, 9. That would be an 8. That would work okay. That would be a 9. Yeah, that would work. And that would be a 9, 2, and that would work okay. So the 6 seems to work. Will the 9 work? 9, 7, 16, 20 would have to be 5 there, which would have to be a 3 and a 2. If that's a 9, that's an 8. And therefore that's a 9 and that's a 2. And we get 2 2s. So that doesn't work. So that tells us that one's a 6. And that's not a 6. So 8, 9, 17 from 23 leaves 6. So that gives us these ones, 2 and 4, 5 and 7. And does that give us anything else? Hopefully it gives us something else. Doesn't give us those two. Tells us that one's not a 7. Does that help? 1, 3, 8. It's not looking like it's helping much, is it? Surely, oh, we didn't do this. That's right. We've got to put these ones in here. 6, 4, 10, 17 from 25 was 8, so it had to be 3, 5. That might help. I'm sure that will help actually. That gets rid of quite a bit. 3, 5. 5 gets rid of the 3, gets rid of that 3. And that 3 and that 3. So that now has to be a 2, 9 pair. And that's an 8. And oh, this gets rid of a lot of things. 7 resolves these ones. And these two. And all of these ones. Lots of things, and that gives an 8, 9 there. It's a 1, not a 1. Got a 1 there. Not a 1 there. That's a 7. And that's a 1. Oops, just the 1. That's a 1. And that one's not a 1. That one's not a 5. And now this one here, 6 and 8 is 14. That's a 3. That's a 2. Not a 3 and not a 2. And what now? That means that 9 that couldn't go there or there has to go there. That one's not a 9. 1, 8 pair. That one has to be a 3. Not a 3. That one can't be a 1 or an 8 actually. It could be a 7. And that's a 9. That's an 8. That's a 9. 1, 8. Ah, there we go. That was a huge help. Now we've got a 1, 3 to go there. That's got to be a 3. And that's a 1. The 8, because this has to be an 8, we've got 7, 9. Can't go there and can't go there. That's got to be the 8. 8, 3 is 11, that leaves 6, so that's a 4, 2, there's a 2 there, that's a 4, that's a 2, gives us those ones. And here we've got, whatever, 5, 6 I think, looks like. Can't tell where they go. I've got one up here, 5, 2, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a 6, and 3, 4, there's a 5, which has to go there, and 7, I think, yep, which has to go there. Now I can probably put this cage in now actually, but I'm on a bit of a roll here, I might have to actually, I think. So now, what could the cage, oh, we'll just put the numbers in and see, 1, 2, 3, can't go there, we've got to have a 3 there. Oh, I'll just put them in and do it the easy way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see what we've got left. That one's a 5, 6. And that one's a 3, 5, 6. That one's a 1, 4. So which one of those can add up to 10? We can have the 6, 1, 3 again, the same as up there. Or we could have nothing. We could have 5, 1, 4, but there's no 1, 4 there now. And we can have 5, 3, 2. So it's got to be 6, 3, 1. That's a 3. That's got to be a 6. And that's got to be 1. And then that one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we need a 2. I'll get those ones out. That's not a 5. Oops. Keep clicking on 2 squares. That's not a 5. 4, 6 gives us, that one is a 5. And then we need a 4, 6 and a something up here. What do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4, 6 and an 8 has to go here. The 8 can't go there, so the 8's got to go there, and that's a 4, 6 is a 6, so that's a 4, 6, 4, 6. Now we need a 1 there, 2, a 3 somewhere there, and that one's a 4. And we need a 2, which has to go there, 3, and that one's a 4. And there we go. Puzzle does not include solution. Oh, okay. That was my fault. Anyway, yeah, so that is how that one is done. Rather complicated process, that one, but got there and a bit more logical than guessing and checking all these ones in the middle like I did in the first place. So anyway, there's I hope you enjoyed that one. It was quite a bit of a challenge, I think. So don't be too hard on yourself if you had a bit of trouble with it. It took me quite a while to figure out all those little nuances in there. Anyway, I will see you on the next one.